What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday night, and it's time for Super Geeked Up! Yeah! Hey, everybody, what's up? My name is Jeff. Thank you very much for joining us. This is your live weekly geeky pop culture show. If you've never seen our show before, we do a mix of fun geeky chat and improv-style games. We're very glad you are with us. I am joined once again by a guest co-host from Sincere Sarcasm, Fernandez.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be back. Always
All right,
to be here.
great to have you back. We're super excited. We have a very special guest tonight. He is from Tiny Plastic Men, Caution May Contain Nuts, and of course, the Mass Effect series. It is Mark Meer.
Hello.
Hello,
Thanks
sir.
for having me, guys.
Of course, thank you for being on. So for some of you probably know, though, Mark actually did Super Geeked Up with me at DragonCon in 2018.
That's right. Yeah, it was a fun panel.
Yeah, you were awesome, man. Thank you for being part of that. That was a super fun time. And yeah, and actually, you know what, folks, we'll probably be posting that video actually fairly soon of that edited together. Yeah, come on. Yeah, it was great. All right, so anyway, thank you very much for coming on. It's great to have you. And if you're in the chat, folks, of course, you can ask any questions you want of Mark, and we're going to need your help with some of our games as well. Of course, our improv games. You guys are always very helpful in the chat. I already see Ariella, Lister's Mate, Victor are in there. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching. Okay, so we always like to start things off, though, with one of our super geeky questions of the day. Francis, what's that?
Well, Mark has a series called Tiny Plastic Men about people who test toys. Bring yourself back to your childhood and think about what was your favorite toy when you were a kid.
Let's start with our guest.
Very nice. Well, first of all, thank you very much for mentioning my series, Tiny Plastic Men, all 4 seasons of which are now available on Amazon Prime to your viewers, whether in Canada, the US, or the UK. Oh, nice. And yeah, so my favorite toy when I was a kid, that is a hard one. I had quite an extensive collection of toys when I was a kid, and of course, being the age that I am, there were a lot of Star Wars toys in there. So it's going to be a very close tie, I think, for single favorite toy. That would be between my AT-AT, which I still have. I still have the AT-AT that I had when I was a kid. Although he's missing the cockpit cover and the guns underneath are broken and whatnot, and he's missing his side door. But yeah, he's still the same guy I had. But he is a very he's in neck and neck with my Shogun Warrior. I don't know if you know, like from the 70s, the 3-foot tall Shogun Warriors. They had missile firing. This was all long before the Boba Fett firing backpack controversy. So yeah, he had missiles that actually fired, and you could choke on them and the whole bit. So and I still have him. I still have Mazinga. It was Great Mazinga was the Shogun Warrior I had. Wait, I always wanted the Godzilla that came with that series, but I never had him.
What was it? I see your guys' answers in the chat, folks. We'll get to those in a minute, but keep putting them in there. What was the Boba Fett backpack firing controversy that you just mentioned? Was it like a flaw?
Again, I'm quite old, so I do recall I was a kid when this happened. Basically, the first Boba Fett figure was going to be a mail-away thing, and the whole thing was that he had a rocket-firing backpack, which he doesn't really in the movies, so I don't know why it was such a big deal. But basically, a missile would shoot out of the top of his backpack. And when people finally got their mail-away figures, the rocket was like glued in; it didn't fire, and so people were all, quite angry about that. And I think it can be traced to, I believe it was some early Battlestar Galactica toys, that there was an incident where like some kids came close to choking on the missiles, and after that there were no more missile firing toys on the market, including sadly Boba Fett.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you're like a historian there of geeky toys. That's great.
Oh, sure, yeah. It's nothing compared to the satanic panic of the 1980s regarding Dungeons and Dragons, and I lived through that too. So,
oh my God, are we gonna talk later? I don't know about all this stuff. Jeez. All right, let me get some answers from the chat here. Mark's Pile says G.I. Joe. That's actually going to be one of my choices. Ariella.
I'm a little older than you. I was just at the just as G.I. Joe was coming out, I was sort of like, I wish I was still playing with toys. These are cool. I had a Snake Eyes and had a Cobra Commander, but no, didn't go all out.
Ariella says He-Man and She-Ra dolls. Very nice. Lister's Mate says Light Bright. I could stare at that screen for hours, putting in random color pegs into the black sheet on the board.
I had a Light Bright.
Yeah. And Tammy Anderson says my plastic record player. Cool. By the way, Ariella, hey, Ariella, you rock. For the second week in a row, we just installed our super chat feature on YouTube where people can throw in any amount they want to get their chat feature and to help us out, keep doing the show. Ariella just threw in $10 right now. My God, that's awesome. Thank you, Ariella.
Thank you.
So she says, thanks for the live shows. Makes my week and gives me a break from writing my first book. Keep up the laughter. Thank you so much. And good luck. Yeah, she was telling me about her mythology book she's working on. Good luck with that.
Very nice. So for donating, does she get like a coffee cup or an attractive tote bag or something?
Actually,
is this PBS?
Francis,
is this PBS?
Francis is going to deliver that right to her door.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, thank you for your donation. This is made possible by viewers like you.
Yes. Victor says in the YouTube chat, Hot Wheels and Matchbox toy cars. I had a bunch of those too. I'm with you, Victor.
Nice.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm actually, besides G.I. Joe, Star Wars was my other big thing. I'm with you there, Mark. And so I think if I had the two specific things, I would go with and Francis, we just saw this at San Diego Comic Fest, this toy by one of the vendors. It was the G.I. Joe. There was this huge like hovercraft thing, the huge hovercraft. Yeah. It was this huge thing that all the like could be in, and it was awesome, and I had it, and I loved it. And then the other thing would be the Ewok Village from Star Wars. I love Ewok Village. Yeah,
sure.
Francis, what about you? Any toys you fondly remember?
Oh yeah, I was. Well, I guess I was an 80s wee lad. So I had the real Ghostbusters as my cartoon of choice, and they came out with toys like the Ecto-1, which was great. But the one that I remember the most, because it was, I don't know why, I had a love of the classic Volkswagen Beetle even as a child. But they had one that would, if you press a button, would turn into a monster. If you press the button, the bug would actually pop up, open, and become this horrific monster that the Ghostbusters would have to defeat. But I just loved it because it was a Volkswagen Beetle, and that was like my favorite car, thanks to Herbie the Love Bug and movies like that. So that would be, I think, my favorite toy when I was growing up, for sure.
Nice. I didn't know that. I didn't know they had a bug like that turned into a monster.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, it was actually, a lot of the later Ghostbuster toys had all the changing feature with them, as I recall.
Nice. In the chat, Carlos Ramirez says, my Ultraman gun had its plate inside the chute. Oh, it's interesting. I don't know a ton about Ultraman, actually, but
that's,
yeah,
that's,
well,
he grows big and he fights monsters. That's,
right. Yeah.
that's the elevator pitch. He gets big, he fights monsters.
Thank you. I got it now.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys. You can keep putting those answers in the chat there. Ariella says slug bug.
Yeah, so anytime you see a Volkswagen Beetle, you punch the person next to you.
Oh, that's right. Slug bug.
So, you gotta.
We have a different, in Canada, we call it punch buggy.
Yes, yeah. I think we
That's actually much better.
Punch buggy versus slug.
Well, it's also, you use the word punch, so you know exactly what you're doing.
Well, slugging, slug bug. Yeah. These things change through generations.
Right.
Who's to say which is better?
Slugging sounds more like power. I don't know. It's like you're really gonna deck somebody.
Well, that was kind of the point.
What? You're supposed to give like a light punch, right?
Oh
no! Oh my God, this is dangerous. All right,
not playing the same game here, Jeff. Not playing.
I don't want to play that game at all. I just play Dungeons and Dragons. All right. Victor says Legos was great as well. Oh, I had so many Legos. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I have my Star Wars Legos too. Those were good. All right, cool. Thank you guys. Those are great choices. Great choices for toys that you liked when you were a kid. So later on, we're going to talk about what video game characters we want to be friends with. Francis has got a Tangent Tales for us. He's got some zany story that he's already warned us about. Well, he hasn't told us it, but it's going to be interesting.
Oh no! Those will be fresh for everyone.
All right, we're going to talk about what Mark's up to in a little bit. And again, feel free to any questions, comments you have for Mark, put them in the chat. But now we're going to do our first improv game of the night. It is called Superhero Marriage Counseling. So what we need from you guys in the chat is we need suggestions. Throw in some fictional characters that you think would make very poor marriage partners. Okay? So just start throwing them in the chat, please. We need your help for this one. Just any characters you think would be bad marriage partners. And then Mark and I are going to play those two characters in this scene. And Francis is going to be our amazing marriage counselor, who's going to try to help us out. Right?
Yeah, sure.
You're shaking your head. No, you're not going to help us out.
Let's see what happens.
We will, yeah.
No promises here. No promises.
So, by the way, while we're waiting for this, in the chat, Ariel also says Cabbage Patch dolls were a favorite of hers. That was a huge craze. And Carrie Johnson says Evel Knievel motorcycle set. Oh, that's cool.
I had that.
Did you?
I had that. The one where you wound it up and then he'd fire out, and he never made the jump. Did it come with like ramps and stuff? Yeah, it came with ramps. It came with like this little thing to charge the motorcycle. Him, of course, and he wasn't articulated. He was actually like a bendy figure, as I recall.
Oh, that's interesting. A bendy, huh? Oh, by the way, yes, I forgot earlier, but listeners may put it in. He wanted to ask you about, and I'm not going to get this pronunciation right, but Kachi the Deathless. How do you say it?
Kachi the Deathless.
Kachi the Deathless from Callisto 6.
I assume he's not talking about the guy from Russian mythology, but instead the cyborg character that I play on Callisto 6 on Geek and Sundry. I've guested a few times, and he's a really fun character to play.
Nice.
And so what did he want to know about Kachi?
Well, first he says you should play him in this scene, this marriage counseling scene.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but he actually earlier...
I think a really obscure character that I made up that not that many people know. No, we'll see. I wouldn't mind playing him, sure.
Okay. Oh, earlier he just said, "What's up, Kachi the Deathless?" Okay, there you go.
Oh, okay.
So he's a big fan, obviously, of your character.
I'm glad to hear it.
We got Victor Snyder saying, well, he says Wonder Woman and Tony Stark. I think that's supposed to be Tony Stark.
No, it's got to be Tony Stark.
I actually wish it was Tony Stark.
Actually, it is. I believe that's from the Spider-Ham universes. Tony.
There you go.
That would make total sense. That'd be great.
I want to do Stark. That'd be amazing.
Ariella, this makes sense because she's working on a mythology book. She says Ares and Aphrodite, so the god of war and the god of love.
Sure.
There. Carrie says Ms. Independent. Is that is that a real character?
I don't know. It's a song. I don't know.
This is a Kelly Clarkson song. You're right.
That's as far as I know.
Okay, so here we got some other answers. Victor says Victor says Doctor Who and Captain Janeway, two reckless time travelers. What can go wrong? Yeah. Tammy Anderson. Yeah. I like this one because I'm a big fan of Kim Possible. Tammy says Shigo and Ron Stoppable.
Oh boy,
are you familiar with the Kim Possible animated series?
Passingly, but I wouldn't attempt to impersonate one of the characters.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that very much. All right, so let's see here.
I could try Doctor Who, sure.
You might be Doctor Who? All right, and then I guess I'll be Captain Janeway then, because that was the pairing. It was Doctor Who and Captain Janeway.
Oh, jeez.
Very well.
Which is fine. I know more about Star Trek than Doctor Who, so that works out.
Oh, there you go.
And Maria just joined us in the chat. Hey, Maria, thank you so much. One of our Patreon sponsors, as is Victor and Francis.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got Doctor Who and Captain Janeway from Star Trek Voyager. Having some marriage problems.
I'll be doing the Tenant Doctor Who because I have sideburns. So.
Oh, that's good. That's perfect.
Oh, the best Doctor. Gotcha. You're doing the best Doctor. Perfect. I like it. I like it a lot.
I don't want to play favorites, but I have sideburns.
Yeah, you're very close to the... Okay, so I guess I have to start the... I guess I'm the counselor. All right. Well, thank you both for coming. I know you guys are having some problems with your marriage.
Oh, hello. Thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Doctor Who, thank you so much for being here. Captain Janeway.
I'm just the doctor. Just the doctor. Thank you very much.
All right, so look, this is part of the problem, right? Everyone, when they try to say his name, he's got to correct them and say, I'm just the doctor. Like, what? Doctor of what? What? I still don't understand this. We've been there like 10 years and I still don't get it.
Well, I don't understand why. People just call you Captain all the time. They don't always say Captain Janeway.
But that's my...
In fact, it's usually just Captain.
But that's my job, my position. I've earned the rank of Captain.
Yes, and that's my job, Doctor, and I've earned that rank.
So Doctor, Captain, this is your problem then, is that people call you by your name? This is the issue you guys are having right now?
It's not my issue. It's certainly not mine.
Then why did you come here today? What seems to be the problem?
I actually understood that we were going shopping for IKEA furniture. And before I knew it, here we are. I was looking forward to putting things together with an Allen key.
Well, hopefully we'll be putting your marriage back together with an Allen key.
All right, all right. Look, if we're going to discuss issues, all right, she is always insisting on some sort of pseudoscientific explanation for thing, when I'm just content to say it's timey-wimey.
Oh.
No, see, I can't stand that. It's not timey-wimey. No, there is an exact science to things. Time travel is an
exact science always involves just reversing the polarity. Just reverse the polarity. There's no need to bring in dilithium or any other sort of nonsense into the mix.
It's not nonsense. That's what all Starfleet is based off, or all our ships are based off of that.
Reverse the polarity.
Listen, yeah, see, he doesn't respect my science. He's like always checking out 7 of 9 and not paying attention to me.
Really? Well, who's the 7 of 9 and why
that is completely untrue and a baseless slander. If I have my eyes on anyone, it's whatever companion I'm truly carrying with.
Wait, so you're saying then Captain Janeway is not your companion?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, not technically, no. Again, companion here is more of a title and a job position. She already has a job, which is captain, and I have a job, which is doctor.
Oh, okay.
And you have a job, which is counselor. Counselor, captain, doctor.
Well, did you know about this companion, Captain Janeway?
Yes, because he's always going off to who knows where in time with this companion. That's all he ever talks about. And they're always in this freaking English police box. I don't understand what happens in there.
TARDIS. It is a TARDIS.
Did you know? Well, okay. Well, so how do you feel?
Excuse me, TARDIS. I'm sorry.
How do you feel about this?
It's very neglected. I don't know why he can't just spend more time with me. I have to talk to freaking Neelix and Chakotay all the time.
Well, now, to be fair, when I go off on my adventures, I'm usually arriving a second and a half after I've left, so no time has passed at all from her perspective.
How many people are in this relationship? You keep naming people. I'm a little confused.
Very complicated.
Oh, well, I'm nearly a dozen people myself, so...
That's very hard. That's very hard to keep the identity straight.
At this point, I'm over a dozen people, depending on where you're looking at it from the subjective timeline.
And we have a bunch of parallel universes, so I don't know even which version of myself I am sometimes. It's very confusing.
Okay. This sounds really, really bad.
Look, she hasn't mentioned the time that she devolved into a lizard and had sex with one of her co-workers.
You had... Wait.
Listen, I was a lizard. I can't be held responsible for what I was doing when I was a lizard.
Really? Really? Oh, I see. Maybe I'll become a lizard then. Maybe
I think you should become a lizard.
Perhaps I'll regenerate into a lizard next.
Yes, maybe I can stomp on you then.
They're famous for regenerating.
So, wait. Have we come to a conclusion then? If you both become lizards, you guys
Yes, we're both just going to become lizards, and I think the relationship will work out much better. Thank you so much, Doctor. You've really helped us out.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Doctor.
I'm more than happy to help.
All right, end scene.
Wow. Wow.
Ooh, Francis, you're really good. You solved the problems.
I guess so. Lizard sex. Who knew?
You missed your calling, Francis. You missed your calling.
By the way, did that happen in an episode? Does she become a lizard?
Yes, there was one episode where
I missed that
both,
one.
I think it's she and Tom devolve into lizards.
And they have sex?
And they're responsible for seeding a new planet with life.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
You looked that up. I'm sure that happened.
No,
that happen.
I think you're right. I think so.
I gotta see that episode now. In the chat while that was going on, Ariella says, it's all about the sex, I see. And Tammy says, lizard brain. Carrie says, this sounds like a problem for Counselor Troy. Yep, yeah, Counselor Troy would be good at this.
That's true. Although there would have been a Starfleet bias then.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah. The Doctor would have probably brought in Ood with him as a co-counselor.
Tammy says, I'm sure the Doctor just loves Seven's nanotech.
Sure.
I don't know. And then Mark says, Tom Baker is my favorite of the original Doctors.
He was my Doctor as well.
My favorite too, yeah. He's the one I saw when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't my first Doctor, oddly enough, because I actually... I started watching just right at the tail end of John Pertwee's tenure. So I saw about 2 episodes with John Pertwee, and then he turned into Tom Baker. So it was. But yeah, Tom Baker was still my Doctor.
Nice. And I saw this this thing where it listed all the doctors. Man, he had such a long run too as a doctor, like so many years.
Yeah, 7 years, I believe. Yeah. 7 years.
In the chat, anyway, people are definitely confirming this lizard thing. Mark says the Warp 10 lizard thing was a strange episode. Tammy says Janeway and Paris had lizard babies. Yep.
Really yep, that's true. Yep.
I need to watch this episode.
All right.
Yeah, it was Paris. Yeah.
Sounds amazing.
I think, yeah, I think it's like relatively early, at like maybe season 1 or 2, like maybe 3. I don't know.
Yeah, it has to
be. Oof. So I just wish I was in the writers' room for some of this stuff when these got pitched. All right, there we go, that folks. That was Superhero Marriage Counseling. Let us know if you enjoyed that. Again, we're going to do some more geeky chat and games later in the show. But hey, here's the time where we're going to talk to Mark and see what he's up to and all that cool stuff you can check out. So,
hey,
Mark.
It's me.
Yes, it is you. So, I mean, we brought up briefly Tiny Plastic Men earlier, but do you want to tell people a little bit more about what it's about? And
Sure. Well, as mentioned, it is about testing toys, and specifically it's about 3 guys who work as prototype testers at a struggling toy company. Toy company with a long and storied past, but which is still struggling in the current environment. And we did 4 seasons of it. All 4 seasons are currently available on Amazon Prime. And not just for Canadians, it's in the States as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are looking forward to, American audiences and British audiences getting to see us. We did have some stuff up on our YouTube channel and whatnot, but now entire episodes, all 4 seasons are available. And throughout the course of our 4 seasons, we welcomed a number of excellent guest stars, including one who is currently up for a Canadian Screen Award, and that is the Canadian equivalent of the BAFTAs, so it's like for both movies and television and whatnot, and that is Colin Mockery from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Nice. Yeah. Love Colin Mockery in Whose Line.
Oh, that's great.
Yes, yeah. And Colin is brilliant. He's a fantastic guy to work with. I've worked with him on a couple of TV shows now, and also I've had the great pleasure of getting to play with him on stage. I've done improv shows with him. He's played my improvised Dungeons and Dragons show a couple of times, both here in Canada and in the States. And yeah, he's a fantastic guy. He, I believe, the award ceremony is today. I don't know if it's happened yet, but it's out in Toronto. And Colin was up for Best Actor in a Comedy or Variety or Musical program for his appearance as Canadian astronaut Whiz Banger. He was sort of a play on Buzz Aldrin, and also a bit of a pastiche of real Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield. But he showed up in our 4th season episode called Office Space Race. And we're actually going to be doing a viewing party on Facebook tomorrow on the Tiny Plastic Men Facebook page to celebrate Colin's nomination. So Colin, yeah, of course, he's been fantastic. He's also guested on my other show, Caution May Contain Nuts, the sketch comedy show, which is currently in its 5th season on APTN. But other guests that we've had on Tiny Plastic Men include Kevin McDonald from Kids in the Hall.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yeah. Again, it was really thrilling to get to meet and work with Kevin because Kids in the Hall was very influential on me growing up. And also Lloyd Kaufman, who created, of course, the Toxic Avenger and is the head of Troma Films.
Yeah,
yeah. And Lloyd, actually, it was quite interesting. We had an episode in, I think it was our 2nd or 3rd season, where we wanted to do sort of a Toxic Avenger reference, and one of the characters sort of like mutates into something very closely resembling the Toxic Avenger. And our legal department was like, no, we can't do that. And we're like, oh, well, what if we get Troma's permission? And what do we have to lose? So we ended up writing to Lloyd and trying to contact Troma and just like, hey, we want to do like an homage to Toxic Avenger make the whole episode really an homage to Toxic Avenger. And Lloyd got back to us directly and not only gave us permission, was like, I'll be in it. I'll fly myself out. And,
nice.
So, he came down to the set. He was amazing. He, shot his own behind-the-scenes video as we were, shooting the episode, his scenes that day. He was, again, utterly amazing. Came on to the little cameo as himself. And then subsequently, we brought him back in later seasons, again, doing cameos as himself. And let's see who else. Oh, of course, the late, great Alan Thicke, who, of course, passed away a little while ago. But he was a great guest star in, I believe that was season 3 that we had him on.
That's so cool. Wow.
That's really awesome, Gus. By the way, in the chat as you were describing the series, Ariella says she's going to check it out on Prime. So excellent.
Hey. Excellent. Please do.
Yeah. And what time is the viewing tomorrow? Viewing party on Facebook?
That will be at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So I believe that's 2 p.m. Pacific and 5 p.m. Eastern.
You got it. Sweet. All right. Awesome. All right. Let's see. So you mentioned caution may contain nuts.
Oh well. Yes. So yeah, that was the big pitch for Tiny Plastic Men. Watch it on Amazon Prime, all 4 seasons. But again, I did mention I have another show called Caution May Contain Nuts, and that's oddly enough featured some of the same guest stars because it's some of the same people from both shows, and it's the same production company. And folks like Colin and Kevin McDonald also guested on that show. Also, Joe Flaherty from SCTV, another comedy hero of mine from back in the day. So that is, as I say, it's currently on its 5th season up here in Canada, and I believe we're looking at distribution for that one, but that might be in the near future as opposed to right now. For right now, go watch Tiny Plastic Man on Amazon Prime. And yeah, so those are my TV shows that I wish to pitch. But of course, I always keep there's always stuff coming up in video games and voice work and stuff like that, and in live stuff, the live shows that I do too.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have D&D in a Castle that we'd love to hear about.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, that is exactly what it sounds like. That's playing Dungeons and Dragons in a castle. And I got invited to that largely on the strength of meeting a bunch of great folks at Wizards of the Coast's Stream of Many Eyes event in Los Angeles. I don't know if you heard about that, but it was something. It was an amazing experience where they essentially rebuilt Waterdeep in a soundstage in Los Angeles with, City Square with the Yawning Portal Tavern on one side and half-orc butcher and a blacksmith and, magic item vendors, all kinds of things. And this was ultimately something that the public could go to and just sort of walk around in Waterdeep for a while. And I was there with Beamdog, who does all the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Editions games and Siege of Dragonspear and Planescape Torment, all of these. They're all getting spruced up and brought to console by Skybound Games. So all of those classic games are going to be available very soon for PS4, for Xbox One, for the Switch. So yeah, I'm looking very forward to revisiting some of those. So and as I say, because I met all these folks, and also I went to Gen Con and played some of their games there, we're basically going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons in a series of castles in England this summer. So there are castles for Maze Arcana and a bunch of the other awesome groups and folks that I met there, like Satine Phoenix and Rudy Rutenberg. I'm doing 2 of the castles. I'm doing the Library Bards Castle. Bonnie and Xander invited me along for that. Yeah, and Jason Carl, who does the LA by Night show on Geek and Sundry. He'll be there. And Amy Vorpal, who I believe you guys have had as a guest as well.
Yeah, we've had Amy Vorpal and the Library Bards on our show, actually. So that's great.
There you go. Yeah. So I'll be at their castle, and I'll also be at the Uncommon Trusts Castle. And that's including folks like Eric Campbell, who GMs rather, Callisto 6 on Geek and Sundry, the cyberpunk superhero game that I had guested on that I mentioned, and also B. Dave Walters, who, as you may know, is currently writing the new Dungeons and Dragons book for IDW, A Darkened Wish.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
So
hanging out with some excellent folks. We're all going to, pool our resources and DM some awesome adventures in a castle. And I believe D&D in a castle's slogan is eat, sleep, roll dice. So that's what we're going to be doing. It's basically like, 4 or 5 days just sequestered in the castle. That's what you're doing, just playing D&D. You got your campaigns. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got folks signed up for my table already, but I believe that there may be some openings. I know that recently a couple of places in the castle, they filled up very quickly, of course, but a couple of places did open up. So if you go to, I think, just dndinacastle.com or Google D&D in a Castle, and you should be able to find their site, they can maybe help you out with fulfilling those dreams of eating, sleeping, and rolling dice in a castle.
So basically, people who are interested, they could basically anybody can pretty much just pay and sign up and go do this, and they get to stay there too and everything.
Yeah, I will say it's not the cheapest event you will ever
attend.
It's not, yeah. Because of course their accommodation and meals at these castles, which are also fancy hotels, is covered. So and then you got your flight and everything. So yeah, it's probably the actual D&D is the most moderately priced part of this event, and yeah, but it will be, I think, the experience of a lifetime. So if you have saved your gold pieces, this might be a good thing to maybe let a few go from your hoard and have an experience of a lifetime.
4 days.
Mm-hmm. I think it might even be 5. I'm not sure, because there's the arrival day too and all that. And
oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're currently plotting and scheming all the things that we're going to be throwing at the players.
That's so awesome. When I first heard about it, I was like, "Oh, it's so cool!"
So cool.
Yes, and again, all sorts of awesome people from Geek. If you watch Geek and Sundry, you'll have seen many of them playing in Callisto 6, for example. You've got Amy Dallin, Sam DeLev, all these awesome folks. Bonnie will be there, and Xander, of course. Yeah, there's going to be all kinds of awesome things going on.
Listeners made the chat is saying like he likes all the people you're mentioning from Geek and Sundry, so he knows about them. Victor says, "Is it okay to steal money to play D&D in a castle?"
Well, you know, I think it's morally wrong, but you know, that's between you and your conscience, I suppose. It's probably legally. There's probably some legal jeopardy there. I certainly wouldn't endorse it. I don't endorse that. But how am I supposed to know where the money came from?
Right.
It stands overall, though. Yeah.
And then Necronia says, "Can I pay for my entrance in Pokemon cards?"
Some cards are valuable. You would probably need to exchange them for legal currency on eBay or some other method of selling them, and then give your money to D&D.
Exactly. Scorpio Moon, our good buddy here, just got off work, party in full swing. Yes, yeah. Thanks for stopping by. So glad you can make it. Sir. And Ariella says, "Mark, do you watch your own shows?"
Ooh. I'm often involved at them sort of at the producing level too. So, for example, I was an executive producer on Tiny Plastic Men. So yeah, I had to watch rushes and give notes. And then, and you want to watch after the VFX have been put in and everything, you want to watch that pass too. And then, on occasion, when we have the season launch or something, we'll get together and we'll watch an episode. But yeah, by the time it airs, I've usually watched it a bunch of times because again, like I'm on my shows, I'm often one of the writers or creative types, so I have to give notes on various cuts. And yeah, I probably watched it a lot by the time you see it.
Oh yeah.
What notes do you give yourself when you...
yeah, if I'm just like, that's terrible, just cut me from that, like,
really?
I don't know what the hell I was doing here. We don't need that reaction shot, do we? Do we have a better one? So yeah, I'm not shy. Like, hell yeah, I'm certainly not shy about cutting, or at least requesting that I be cut from something if it's not working.
I got some more stuff here in the chat. Scorpio says, in terms of the stealing to go to D&D in a castle, he says it's only wrong if you don't pass the dexterity check.
This is true. This is true.
Nice call, sir. And Tammy says, "Sounds fun. I think we need to launch a quest to afford it." That would be a good quest. A quest to raise money for D&D in a castle.
A super geeked up GoFundMe. Get the people over there.
All our fans to go. Yeah, for sure, man.
Just to get Jeff and I over there.
Oh, all right. So I was trying to get our fans. You just want to get us. Okay, that's nice.
Why not? It'll be fun.
All right.
That said, I don't know how many spots are available. Like, I think there were a few that freed up like a couple of weeks ago. So I don't know if they're still floating around. Who knows? The best way to find out is go to the website.
Yeah. There's a wait list currently.
Oh, there's currently a wait list. Okay.
Wait list, yeah.
But get on the wait list because sometimes things happen. Plans change.
Exactly. Well, folks, if you want to help us send us to a castle or something else, you can do a super chat like Ariella did earlier today. Thank you, Ariella. Again, that's the little money icon in the lower part of your chat thing on YouTube. Any amount you want is very helpful. Or you can go to Patreon and help support us there. We always very much appreciate that. And thank you for the people in the chat like Anthony and Victor and Maria and Francis here who are supporters there. All right, so you mentioned Geek and Sundry, Mark. So
yes.
What are some of the shows like that you've been doing there? Where can people check you out on Geek and Sundry?
Well, you can find me on. I just recently did LA by Night. I did a string of appearances on LA by Night. I appeared once in the first season, and twice in the second season. And I don't want to give too many spoilers because people might not, if I'm trying to get people to watch, they probably don't want spoilers. But yeah, it's fantastic. It's a RPG. It is Vampire the Masquerade, of course, based in the world of darkness. All the player characters are vampires. There's a secret society of vampires that controls the world, and they hide their existence from humanity with something known as the Masquerade, which essentially boils down to pretending to be a human. I played the sire of one of the player characters. Nellie G was the character's name, and my character's name was Chaz Price. And if you're familiar with Vampire the Masquerade, you know that there can sometimes be a contentious relationship between a vampire and their sire. And there certainly was in this case. So yeah, I did, again, it sort of depended on when I happened to be in town that I could pop into the Geek and Sundry studios when I happened to be in LA. So I did... yeah, one appearance in the first season and 2 in the second, and I won't say more beyond that. But I also have appeared on Callisto 6, which is the cyberpunk superhero RPG that's on Geek and Sundry. And again, really fun show. That one's GM'd by Eric Campbell. Jason Carl, of course, does the Vampire the Masquerade one. And it uses the Cypher system, the Cypher role-playing game, which I'd never actually played before.
Oh, yeah, I played that. That's a cool system.
Yeah, it's a really fun system, and it introduces things like the players being able to take narrative control or sort of interrupt the GM's flow or something like that, and just very, very interesting ideas in cooperative storytelling, essentially. And I really like the way that the Cypher system worked out for that. So yeah, those are the Geek. I've done some other brief appearances. I showed up on Hector Navarro's show. Lore Masters, his old show, and we just talked about Bronze Age comics for about an hour, and it was a lot of fun.
All right, so so we got some great suggestions in the chat, actually, what we can do, Francis. But first, Lister's made had a question about D&D in a Castle. Is it going to be live streamed at all? He wants to know.
That I don't know. That would be up to the organizers. I wouldn't object to stuff being live streamed, and in fact, I think it could be fun. So you may see some of that.
All right. Yeah. Tammy suggests that instead of, we can do Super Geeked Up can do D&D in a cave. It's way cheaper than a castle.
Yes. Yes.
Depends on the cave. Depends on the cave.
I'm down with that. But Scorpio has a great idea. He was saying he would totally kickstart a Super Geeked Up D&D thing, and what he meant by that is like D&D game that had games built into it. Instead of passing a dex check, you have to win a round of Universal Translator. Like you'd have to do our geeky games we do. I think that's awesome. Thank you, man. Like that's the coolest suggestion ever. I totally want to do that now. All right. Cool. Thanks, guys.
I actually do an improv D&D show, actually, up here in Canada. And as I say, I've done it with Colin here and in the States, and we've got one coming up on Saturday. So I don't know how many of your listeners are able to get to Edmonton by Saturday, but we will be doing it's the final show in this season for us, for improv D&D.
All right.
That's awesome. Guys, get up to Edmonton.
That'll be it at the Citadel Theater.
Presented by Citadel Theater. That's perfect for you, man.
Yeah, it's my favorite show on the Citadel.
Thank you. Oh my God, I didn't want to ask you, but thank you for doing that.
Yeah. The big regional theater in Edmonton is called the Citadel Theater.
Made my day. All right,
and that's where my improv company is based out of. So yeah,
that's so cool. That's perfect. So Victor wanted to know about the Cypher system. I'll let you answer this. I can answer this, but I'll let you do it. Is it kind of like the Fate system?
I don't know because I haven't played the Fate system.
All right, so I can tell you then. I can tell you that.
I've only played the Cypher system on Callisto 6, although Eric very kindly gave me the rulebook when I was there a couple of weeks ago. So now I have to read the rules. Mostly I've just been playing by like, what do I do now? Can I do this? You know, that kind of thing when you're figuring out a new system. But the narrative interrupts was a factor that really, I really like that. I played 10 Candles, and it sort of has like a somewhat similar. It's not that's a horror game. This is a superhero game, so yeah, it's not quite the same, but it had similar qualities.
Fate is actually my favorite system. I guess they're similar, Cypher and Fate, in that they're both, I think, often considered more rules-light games, I suppose. There's some similarities. I haven't played Cypher in a while, though, so I can't remember everything about it. you still roll dice with Cypher, right? And everything.
Oh yeah, there are dice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'll get back to you, Victor. I gotta look up Cypher again more.
Yeah, and it's mostly it's D20 basically.
Okay. Cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think there is more flexibility in both those games. That's why I like Fate. There's a ton of I think flexibility and interactions between the players and the DM, and the players get to control a lot of what happens. So
True,
like you're saying,
yeah.
so that's somewhat in Cypher too. So.
But I mean, almost any role-playing system can have flexibility if the DM and the players are willing to go that way. Like you can play a very fast and loose game of D&D. You don't have to abide by any of the rules, really. They even say that in the book. It's like, this is your game. You make it what you want it.
That's a great point that you do say in the book. You're right. Yeah. All right, cool. Let's see here. All right, I guess I think we covered everything, right, that you're up to pretty much, Mark?
Yeah, I think most of the things that I'm contractually obligated to plug.
All right, cool. Well, once again, folks, on your screen is where you can follow Mark online on Twitter, Instagram, and all that good stuff. Let's check him out. And then remember, tomorrow there's the Facebook viewing party for Tiny Plastic Men, right? Is that what it's for?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. For Colin Mockery's episode.
Yeah, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. All right. Head over to the Tiny Plastic Man Facebook page for that information. All right. So before we get on to more chat and games, folks, just want to let you know that we're going to be at WonderCon this Friday through Sunday. And actually, the guys you just mentioned, right? LA, tell me again.
I believe LA by Night will be doing a show there, yeah.
Awesome.
So cool.
So yes, come see B.D. Walters and Erica Ishii and Alexander Ward.
I know Erica,
and Cynthia Marie, yes. And Jason, of course.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Yeah. So folks, we're doing Super Geeked Up Friday night, 8 p.m. in room 213 CD. I'll actually put this information on your screen right now. It's a ton of fun. Like I said, at DragonCon, it was so much fun with Mark doing it live on stage. So we're going to do that at WonderCon. So we're super excited about that. And then we got Chris Bramante and Matt Acevedo, two really cool improvisers joining me. And then we're going to do a bunch of gaming stuff too. So basically, we're running 2 different board game sessions where we're just going to show people a whole bunch of different board games and have fun. It's called our Board Game Extravaganza. One of them is right after Super Geeked Up on Friday night, and then the other one's Saturday night. And then I'm going to run the newest Fate game, which is called Shadow of the Century. So if you are a fan of the 1980s like I am, because I was a kid there, this game is all about, they bill it as totally rad 1980s action to the max. So it's all about just making like a crazy action 80s movie or TV show. So it's a lot of fun. I've run it a couple times already, and it's always cool fun. So hope you enjoyed it, guys. FunderCon is super, super cool. It's always a good time. And Francis will be there during the whole show as well.
I'm just gonna be walking around.
Well, you'll be helping out Super Geeked Up.
I'll be.
Like you do at a con.
Yeah, you'll be press, man.
Press. I'll be doing coverage actually. Yeah, so I'll be walking around and talking to people. So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be good times.
Absolutely. Jake and by the way, Lister's mate says Jake and Daryl from Asinine Wisdom will be at WonderCon too. Oh, that's awesome. They're good buddies of ours. They've been on our show many times.
Very
Sweet.
Cool. Very cool.
All right, folks, let's get to our next super geeky question. So, folks, if you don't know, I'm sure you do, though. Mark played Commander Shepard in the first 3 Mass Effect games, my favorite games of all time.
I did. This is true. Yes. I did do that. I bet.
If you could be, so this leads to our next question. If you could be best friends with a video game character, who would you choose? So, Mark, what would your choice? Who would be your choice?
Okay, I mean, I should choose someone from the Mass Effect person. Probably Garrett. He was Shepard's best friend.
Yes, Garrett, you said.
Was also awesome, and so was Rex. It's hard to choose from my Mass Effect. I'm just going to put all the Mass Effect characters aside. Take it as read that I would like to be friends with them because they're awesome. But if in all of video game, I'm going to pick Mario because it always is handy to have a friend who's a plumber.
Right, it is.
That stuff is expensive. If you can get a buddy to help you out, and plus Mario would probably bring his brother with to help too, so you'd be getting 2 plumbers for the price of 1.
Yeah, Luigi, man.
And the price of 1 is free because he's your friend. So there you go.
Nice. That's a smart choice. So man, yeah, we're on the same page here. Garrus is an amazing choice. I think obviously he's such an awesome guy. I loved him in Mass Effect. But you know what? I chose also through Mario universe, and I'm gonna go Yoshi.
Oh, okay.
Sure. Because you know what? It's like, man, he's a dinosaur. It's awesome. He's super cute. You can ride him around. He can get fruit for you.
But can he fix your toilet? He cannot.
That's the point.
No, but he could just call up Mario and be like, whatever dinosaur noise he makes, and Mario will come running.
No, Mario would be like, I'm sorry, me and Luigi are at my friend Mark's house fixing his plumbing. We can't come.
Right. So they're just constantly fixing your plumbing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, these turtles keep showing up and breaking things.
Right. Yeah. I hate those turtles. So in the chat, let's see here. We got Ariella said Katana for Mortal Kombat would be her choice.
Oh wow!
Yeah, wow. Well, that's a good friend to have around to like protect you.
Yeah,
that's true.
And if you get hot, she has a fan, so she can cool you off.
Necrodius,
yeah, but, if things get rough, my buddy Mario, he'll just like grow gigantic and throw fireballs at you. So watch yourself. Watch yourself.
Yeah. That's true. And he can like fly around with the raccoon suit, right? And glide around. Right. You're right. Mario is a really good choice, actually. He does so many different things.
So versatile.
Yeah.
And he's a tradesman. He has a trade.
That's true. Yeah.
So you can make a living.
He has something he can fall back on, always. And make good money. You make good money as a plumber.
You do, yeah. You're right. You're not lying.
He does have all the gold coins, too, so it's pretty
in the chat, Lacrodia says, remember, everyone, there is an Aladdin video game for Super Nintendo. So there you go. I picked the genie from that game.
Oh,
okay.
That's smart, man, right? That's a good choice.
That's smart.
Smart. No, I'm with them.
We got some other Mass Effect choices here, actually, in our live chat. Victor says the Elusive Man.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah.
All right. Very well connected. Scorpio says PB from Andromeda. Such a free spirit. She lived in an escape pod. PB was a cool character. And actually, I know the actress who played her, so it's cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Chris says, loved Yoshi. All right, good. I got some Yoshi support. Hey, Francis, what's your choice? Who's your best friend in a video game?
You're not going to know this name, but you'll know the game. My best friend will be Peter Pepper from Burger Time.
Yes.
I remember Burger Time. Yeah.
I'm a food aficionado. I love me some food, and I love me a good burger. And you know what? This guy's going to just keep making me any burger I want. And it's going to be fantastic.
And they're going to be gigantic.
And they'll be, yes, exactly.
They're going to have like living fried eggs trapped inside them.
Oh, yeah. You know, though, that's fine. Add some flavor.
I'm sure they're tasty. I'm sure they're really tasty.
It's the right kind of zing to it.
So the guy you played in it was called Peter Pepper?
His name was Peter Pepper, yeah.
I did not know that, and I always just thought of him as the chef from Burger Time.
Yeah.
I did not know the guy had a name up till now. Like,
it's weird how many characters actually, like, just unnamed protagonists all over video game history, and you have to really find the name, but they all have names, apparently, so, yeah.
Wow.
Well, actually,
that's like 35 years later I found out that guy's name was Peter Pepper.
Yeah, nice job, Francis. Well, in the first Donkey Kong game, did Mario even have a name?
Jumpman. He was Jumpman.
Yeah, he didn't have Mario name, right? He wasn't called Mario. Yeah.
Not until the first Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
All right. Scorpio in the chat says, "Oh, that Mario, his mustache is questionable."
Why?
It's a proud symbol of his Italian heritage.
I say it's a good mustache. Yeah.
Listeners
He's a bit of a hipster. He's a bit of a hipster, Mario. He's got like, kind of goes up at the ends. And...
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. I see that a lot of the hipster areas. Yeah.
Listeners mate says, speaking of turtles, I'd be friends with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They had great video games. I think I might be friends with them to meet April O'Neil, though.
Oh sure. Just be friends with April.
You could just cut out the middleman and just be friends with April. Right. Like she's a video game character.
He wants the he wants the in. The turtle's gonna get him the in to April.
Oh, okay, right, because he doesn't want. Maybe he wants to date April. He doesn't want to be her friend.
He doesn't want to come off weird like a stalker or anything.
He wants to be like the turtle's cool friend that they introduced her to, like they did Casey Jones, and that worked out for them.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Did Casey and April date? Is that what happened?
In some continuities, they did. Yes.
All right.
I don't think in the original main comic, no, I don't think so. In fact, yeah, I don't think on the cartoon either. But there are some comics and continuities where they did. And the movie continuity,
fiction.
In the movie,
definitely in the movies, yeah,
definitely in the movie for sure.
Oh yeah. It was Victor says, well, a yellow jumpsuit is really sexy. It is on April, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Bring it back.
And then Scorpio says, Wreck-It Ralph could use a friend. Yeah. He's got Vanellope, but you can just another friend probably. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a movie character that's about video game. Like, yeah, he's from a movie about video. Is he? Well, they probably have a Wreck-It Ralph game by now.
They did make a game based on.
Did they make it? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Counts. Does that
Wait,
count?
did they make? But in the game,
if they made it, then he's a video game character.
Is the game they made like in the movie? Like he just wrecks things?
They made a Fix-It Felix game, which is the main character in the movie. I mean, not the main character, but the protagonist in the movie. But and Wreck-It Ralph is there, breaking things, wrecking everything.
Yeah, he counts. He counts. If they made a game, he counts.
He counts. I like it. I like it.
Chris Hadley mentions Qbert, a classic game as well, of course. Scorpio, by the way, says, "Not a one of you has enough mustache to judge. How dare you?"
No, I don't.
That's true. We don't have any.
There's no mustache.
We got nothing. We're very clean shaven on this show.
Yeah, but two of my best friends have mustaches, Mario and Luigi.
That's right.
They're fixing my pipes right now.
There you go. There you go.
That's like all the banging is in the back.
Oh, there you go.
Ariella says Donkey Kong during my destructive phase. Oh, I guess she wants to be friends with Donkey Kong. I guess when he can smash things. Yeah,
sure.
Good choice.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to our last game of the night. Francis, what is this called?
All right, here we go. We're going to play a game called Tangent Tales. I will be providing the opening of a geeky story, and I'll be passing it around to both Mark and Jeff to continue this story in whichever way they wish. And they'll be passing it around until somebody ends it. And so here we go. I have an intro, please. This let me just preface this. This does require some knowledge of Andy Griffith television era.
Okay.
Understand when I start this. All right.
Okay.
It was a dark and stormy night. The nearly empty subway car rattled on its path, the interior lighting blinking on and off as if it were trying to call out in Morse code. One man sat alone, fidgeting with his Marine Corps uniform, eager to make his way home. Suddenly, a cold chill enveloped the car, and an ominous voice called out into the distance. "Private Pyle, you have been chosen to take my place." The timid private looked up from his seat, trying to find the source of the voice, but he saw no one. Again, the voice called out to him. "Say my name, and you shall have my power." Private Gomer Pyle called out into the empty car. "Well, golly, I don't know your name." Gomer looked around the car once more and found a shiny new penny. "Well, Shazam, Shazam, Shazam. Shiny new penny." And I will pass this on because Jeff is laughing hilariously over there. I will pass it on to Jeff.
So after he said Shazam 3 times, a bolt of lightning came down and Gomer Pyle transformed into Papa Smurf. And he was very surprised because he was very short and blue. And then all of a sudden, the subway car came to a screeching halt. And the doors opened. And he saw the most terrifying sight he's ever seen in his life. And that was, Mark?
As the doors slid open, Gomer Pyle, as Papa Smurf, laid his eyes upon a terrifying scene. Smurf Village, now destroyed and burning. The mushroom houses consumed by smoldering flames. An orange cat darted hither and yon, grabbing Smurfs and biting them in half. Standing, surveying the destruction, was a man in a black robe, his bald pate gleaming in the sun as tears of joy ran down his face. A maniacal laugh escaped his crooked lips and broken teeth. "At last, the Smurfs have fallen!" Gargamel. Somehow, Gomer knew, through the wisdom of Solomon, which had been granted him, that this was the Smurfs' eternal foe, a wizard of great and dark power. Over to you, Francis.
Well, Smurfity, Smurf. Gargamel, reveling in his victory, looks down at poor Gomer as Gomer shivers in fear, unsure what to do next. He looks around and sees his glowing chest, a glowing Smurf upon his chest, as he yells out, "I will Smurf you!" And he throws the Smurf towards Gargamel, watching it grow into this gigantic, beautiful bird, I guess. Sure, a bird as beautiful as the great phoenix engulfing Gargamel. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The cat. I forget the cat's name. What's the cat's name?
Azrael.
Thank you. Azrael, seeing his master in danger, attacks the bird and then slashes at it, crying out in rage, "Jeff!"
Oh, I thought that's what it was crying out. Okay, never mind.
I know, Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
So, Azrael, was tearing out at the bird. What he didn't know is that the bird was actually a member of G-Force.
Wow.
And the other member suddenly appeared out of nowhere and came swooping down from the sky. And they attacked Gargamel and Azrael, and they picked them up, and they flew them out of Smurf Village and dumped them into a volcano nearby. And
wow.
And then a huge plume of smoke rose up from the volcano, but somehow Gargamel and Azrael were not dead. Something even crazier happened after that, Mark.
Oh, jeez.
Gargamel, protected by his arcane energies, crawled, burning, his skin scalded but still intact, from the lip of the volcano. He rose to his full height. "You shall never defeat me!" Gomer, realizing he had only one chance, used the maneuver from Kingdom Come that was perfected by Alex Ross and Mark Waid, flying up, embracing Gargamel's by the face, screaming, "Shazam!" and then moving out of the way as the lightning bolt sliced its way through Gargamel's head. His corpse, now headless, toppled for a moment, and then fell backwards into the volcano, taking Azrael with it.
The end.
The end. Well done.
Oh, wow. That was like the most epic one we've ever done of that.
Yeah, and I love
G-Force showed up. G-Force came in.
Yeah.
A lot.
They didn't stick around to see the job was done, though. They just threw him in a volcano, flew away.
Well, they didn't have the longest runs from other shows. So.
That's true. They were just a cameo. They were solely a cameo.
Yes. All right, great job, guys. I was on the edge of my seat, man. Particularly when Smurf Village was burning, I was like, "Oh my god, this is terrible."
Oh man,
a lot of Smurfs died in that attack.
Yeah, Smurfity Smurf.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. I love the voices too. And Francis, I know you were worried about you did a great Gomer Pyle, man.
I don't know how many people know who Gomer Pyle is.
I got the reference.
I got it, of course.
Good.
Yeah, and that was a great guy. I love the Gargamel.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And with the Shazam movie about to open, it's all very timely.
I love that you worked that in because I cannot wait for that movie.
Yeah, I figured that'd be a very time appropriate tangent tale if I put some Shazam in there.
Yes, I hear very good things, very very positive things about the movie.
I'm excited.
Awesome, it looks so fun.
Yeah. And I was always a fan of. I was more of a Black Adam fan, to be honest. But if this movie does well, then we'll get a Black Adam movie with The Rock.
The Rock, yeah.
Hopefully there's a cameo. I'm excited.
By the way, Maria in the chat says, "Love the Shazam." There you go. And other people are just yelling Shazam in the chat now.
Oh, good. That's
Oh, by the way, right before the start, after you did your intro, Victor had said, "You're the best, Francis." I just want to pass that on.
Oh, thanks, Victor. I try to.
It's pretty swell.
Once in a while.
All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed that edition of Tangent Tales. So before we get on out of here, once again, Mark, where can people check you out online, and what can they go watch and all that good stuff?
Sure. Well, of course, I am on Twitter and on Instagram and on the Facebook, and I think you guys probably have links to my Twitter and my Instagram up there.
We sure
Excellent. Of course, you can check out Tiny Plastic Men. That's 4 seasons of hilarious Canadian comedy, award-winning, which is on Amazon Prime in Canada, the US, and the UK currently. There's also Caution May Contain Nuts. We're not quite available on this in the same distribution, but I think we have hopes for that for the future. But there's the YouTube channel. You can check that out there, and the Facebook group, and we're constantly posting new stuff there. Besides that, you can hear me in The Long Dark from Hinterland Studio, which is being released sort of in the style of the old Telltale games, which is to say episode by episode, and we're currently in the season called Wintermute right now. The episode 1 and 2 redo, I believe, was just released. That is, of course, the game that I'm in with Jennifer Hale, who is the female Commander Shepard.
Oh, yeah. Love Jennifer Hale.
She's an awesome lady, and she's fantastic. I was a big fan of hers even before I got cast in Mass Effect. But the thing is, this time we're not playing the same character, so we actually get to interact with each other, and our characters are a divorced couple, so we actually get to have some nice.
Oh shit! I gotta check that out. So cool.
We get to have some nice dramatic scenes.
I was telling Francis before the show, Jennifer Hale is one of my all-time favorites. So
She's awesome. Also in the game are Dave Hayter, who you may remember as the voice of Snake from Metal Gear Solid, as well as all his many writing endeavors and whatnot. And also Elias Tefexis, who plays Adam Jensen in Deus Ex. He's in the game. And all of us are Canadian. And this is a game. It's a very Canadian game. In fact, it has been called Player versus Canada. Because...
taking over.
The main point of the game is to not freeze to death and not starve and not be eaten by a wolf. So it's just like life in Canada.
Nice. It's called The Long Dark, did you say?
The Long Dark, yeah, and that's available on all platforms. Again, Skybound was responsible in bringing that to the physical copies anyway. But that's Hinterland Studio is the company behind that. They're a great bunch. And that is an ongoing thing, so look for more future episodes to come. Let's see, what else?
By the way, Ariella says, I found Tiny Plastic Man on Prime. I'll watch it right after this. So there you go.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. And then there's also, of course, the Dungeons & Dragons games that I do. That's with Beamdog, and all of those games are going to be coming soon. Those classic games that have been spruced up for the new millennium by Beamdog with a bunch of new areas of the world, with new NPCs, new quests, all this sort of thing. The graphics have been spruced up and whatnot, and they will be making their way to consoles, including the Switch, thanks to Skybound Games very soon.
Exciting. All right. Very cool.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. So much cool stuff to check out, folks. Francis, where can they see your cool stuff?
You can mostly hear it. You only see me here. I hide my face everywhere else. All my podcasts.
We're honored then. You show your face here.
Yeah, exactly. SincereSarcasm.net is where you can find all the shows that I'm a part of. I just put out a recent new episode of Online Friend Simulator. So if you're at all interested in looking for a friendly voice in a continuously lonely world, this is the place to go if you're interested. Also, I'm at AKA The Other Guy everywhere. It's the name I chose. It's the name that I use on everything. So that is the place to go if you want to find me on the social medias.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Folks, on your screen right now, if you want to sign up for our email list, you will get some free stuff. Get a Super Knocked Up comic book. You get some RPG books from Evil Hat Productions, who make the Fate system, which we got referenced earlier. Just text SGU to 22828, and we'll sign you up there. And of course, again, if you'd like to support us on Patreon, we're at patreon.com/supergeekedup. Anything is a huge help for helping to continue doing this show and geeking out with you. And again, everybody who's already supporting us, thank you guys so much. And thank you for watching, of course. You guys rock, and we love it when you're in the live chat and you're participating and helping us do our games. And we love you just the same when you're watching the post as well. So thank you so much. We're at supergeekedup.com. That's where you can get all our stuff, and you can catch us on social media there as well. Huge thanks to Mark. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, and of course, thanks to Francis and Gwen for co-hosting. And folks, I hope we see some of you at WonderCon. We would love to see you there. The best part is just getting the chat with you guys and hanging out and geeking out at these cons. Again, that's Friday at 8 p.m. We're doing Super Geeked Up at the con. And then Friday and Saturday throughout the day, afternoon and evening, we're doing a whole bunch of different gaming events, both tabletop RPGs and board games. So plenty of geeky stuff going on. And then, of course, there's just tons of other awesome stuff going on at the con as well. All right. Cool. Thank you guys so much. If we don't see you at WonderCon, we'll see you next week, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday night. We appreciate you guys very much. Until then, stay geeky, everybody. Bye.
Bye.